Hi, I'm Steve Diggs. Welcome to Insights. Today I want to talk to you about what a winner looks like. One of the great traits of winners is that they never, ever, under any circumstance, forget the number two mindset. Well, Steve, what do you mean by that? Here's what I mean. Even after great success, even in some cases after these individuals have become number one in their category, the greatest winners of all never forget what it felt like to be number two. And they always play to that in some way. Let's tell you what, let's go back a ways. So let's go back to the 1950s. This was a great time in America. 1950s, we'd won the war, the baby boom had begun. America liked Ike. We were feeling our oats. That was also a time of increased mobility in America. As a matter of fact, people everywhere were beginning to travel like never, ever before. One of the great companies of that era was Hertz. As a matter of fact, they were number one, by far they were number one, in the car rental business. They were the big fish. Most people didn't even know that there were other companies out there. Why was this? Well, it was in great part because Hertz supported their image. They supported their brand. Everywhere you looked, you saw advertising for Hertz. On television, they were constantly running commercials where people would fly into the car as the jingle would sing, "Let Hertz put you in the driver's seat." They supported that with a full-color, full-page magazine advertising campaign. Hertz was definitely number one. But technically, there was a number two company out there. However, practically nobody had ever even heard of this company. The name of the company? Avis. Now, back in those days, Avis was, like I said, technically number two, but they were so far back in the pack, they just were not even a player in the industry. Matter of fact, Avis had the dubious distinction of having lost money for the past 5 consecutive years. Avis was in financial trouble, but they scrounged together $1 million. They came to a New York advertising agency by the name of Doyle, Dane, and Bernbach. They asked this agency, "Would you help us? We have $1 million. What we want in exchange for that is a multi-million-dollar advertising campaign." Well, Doyle, Dane, and Bernbach thought about it. They came back to Avis and they said, "Okay, we'll do the deal with you, provided one thing, provided you let us do this our way." Well, after all, Avis didn't have much to lose, so they said, "Go ahead." And with that was born an advertising campaign that broke all of the rules. You see, up until that point, the typical advertising campaign always claimed that the product was the biggest, the baddest, the best, the most bombastic one out there. But Avis didn't do that. Instead, Avis came along with a campaign where they admitted up front the truth. They said, "We're number two," but then they supported that with an incredible promise. "But we will try harder." And you know what happened? America's love for the underdog kicked in. And all over America at airports, people began to step over the Hertz line into the Avis line. And gradually the growth began, and it picked up speed. Soon, Avis was in a position of becoming one of the biggest and most successful car rental companies out there. Today, Avis still advertises very much like they used to. They ran that early campaign with ads that supported the image, not full color ads, but instead ads that simply spoke the truth. When you're only number two, you try harder or else. They ran other ads, I like this one right here. "Are you working like a dog to get to the top? Well, then shake hands with Avis." You see, these ads resonated with people because they weren't claiming to be more than they really were. And like I said, all over America, Avis continued to grow. Today, Avis no longer tells us that they're number two, but they do make the promise again: we try harder. Now, what's my point here? And what are the benefits of maintaining this number two mindset? I think that there are 3 major benefits. Number one, by maintaining the number two mindset, even after you've experienced success, you continue to have more energy, and that way you can accomplish more than the competitors. Number two, people that have that number two mindset are people who can withstand adversity better than others who have gotten to the top and then they begin to rest on their laurels. This means that when tough times come, like a recession, or maybe a business cutback, or maybe some other unforeseen experience in your industry, you have the chops to continue to go forward. The adversity doesn't only not slow you down, but in some ways it invigorates you. And thirdly, People who accept and maintain this number two mindset, these are the people who are the most innovative folks out there. They're the people who learn to innovate because they have to. Like they say, the old expression has said forever, that necessity is the mother of all invention. Number two mindset folks understand this. They become the innovators. So what's the point to all of this? If you want to succeed, you need to understand that effective people always remain hungry. Hey, I'm Steve Diggs. This has been Insights. Lots of great content in the speed of